Getting weighed at the doctor's office can be so stressful. I know that one doctor that I go to, the scale is literally in the middle of the hallway. The nurse's station is literally right there. You have to get on the scale. You can't take all your stuff off because, again, you're in the middle of the hallway. And then many times that I've been weighed, the nurse or the CMA bringing me back has literally announced my weight almost like on a loudspeaker. Okay, your weight is 143 or whatever she says. And I'm like, goodness, do we have to tell everybody? Getting weighed at the doctor's office can actually be very stressful. It really can. For some of the reasons I just mentioned, right? Sometimes the scales are public. They're literally in public places where other patients or staff may be. That's no one else's business as far as I'm concerned. Also, it can be stressful because a lot of doctors' scales are not able to accommodate every weight, right? There are some scales that cannot accommodate some weights. That's not okay either. It's also stressful because, well, some people are simply triggered by their weight or by this scale, whether it's because they've had eating disorders or other medical problems, or they simply are triggered by the scale and their weight. And let's not forget things like weight bias. We know that there are plenty of people in the medical community, just as in the world, but specifically the medical community, which is what I'm talking about, that have bias against people of certain weights, and that can make it stressful for some. So, this question of, do you have to get weighed at the doctor's office, I think is a really important one. I'm going to tell you if getting weighed at the doctor's office is necessary. But first, let me tell you why we doctors ask for your weight, okay? So first of all, and I'm talking about only adults here. I'm not talking about children and babies, etc. That's a whole different animal. I'm talking about adults. Your weight can be very important for a number of things for us. For example, sometimes we have to calculate medication doses based on your weight. Sometimes we have to, we can use your weight to determine how you're doing with a certain medical condition. So people with congestive heart failure or kidney problems or things like that, we can sometimes estimate how much fluid is in their body or they're sort of retaining by their weights, if their weight goes up, if it goes down, etc. So weights can be very, very important for that. Your weight can also be very important for other underlying medical conditions, such as thyroid disease or like a hyperthyroidism. If someone is losing weight, again, these are weight may not determine or tell us that they have this condition, but weight can be a piece in the puzzle for us figuring out what's going on. The other thing too is that weight loss that is unintentional, meaning someone is not intending to lose weight, that can be a sign for me that I need to look for cancer or something else going on, okay? And sometimes the patient only has known or realizes they've lost weight because they get it checked in the doctor's office, right? Not everyone weighs themselves at home. Now, there are other reasons why we check your weight too, but those are some. Now, to the question of, do you have to be weighed at the doctor's office? Well, you might not have really known this, but for many people, you probably don't have to be weighed at the doctor's office. Again, I'm talking about adults, and specifically adults where we're not sort of following something specific or looking at something specific. If you're healthy, things have been fine, status quo, etc., you may not need to be weighed at your doctor's office. That's right. Now you might say, well, how will I know? Well, the thing is you probably won't know, okay? I have patients that will say, hey, doc, are you okay if I don't get weighed today? And I can then tell them, hey, totally fine, or hey, I was looking for this or that. Let's see what we can do, or let's find some other option. The best way for you to know if your doctor needs your weight is to ask them. And you don't have to ask the nurse or the CMA or the MA or the person who brought you back. You can actually ask the doctor. Just defer the weight until you talk to your doctor and say, hey, is it really necessary that I get my weight checked today? If not, I'd rather decline, okay? You have that agency. This is your right. And the truth be told is, even if your doctor says, hey, I really need your weight, etc., you still have agency for the most part, right? This is your body and these are your choices, but you do want to understand why your doctor wants what they want and for what reason and the importance it may hold. Now let's talk about saying no, because look, if there's no particular reason why your doctor needs your weight and you don't want to get on a scale, there's plenty of ways that you can say no. You can simply say, I'd rather not today. You could also do something called do a blind weight. That means when you get on the scale, you turn your back to the scale so you don't see what the number reads. You can also ask the person taking your weight not to tell you what that is. Also not to broadcast it on a loudspeaker in the office either, right? That's very important. You could also consider checking your weight at home and telling your doctor or your doctor's associates if that is easy for you. Okay. There's also these cards I've seen online that there are companies that make different cards where you can sort of hand a card to your healthcare provider that sort of tells them sort of written out, hey, I'd rather not get my weight today unless it's absolutely necessary, something of that nature, right? But understand that you do have the right to do that. This is important to know. So if getting your weight checked at the doctor's office is stressful for you, please understand you're not the only one. There are a lot of people in your boat. What you want to do is find out if your doctor needs your weight. And of course, you also want to know why too, because that's going to be information for you as well. Let me also sort of pivot though and say that for many patients and for many times with my patients in the office, the number on the scale actually is a nice starting point for us to have discussions. You know, many times my patients will say in the office, yeah, I got on the scale today and it didn't read what I wanted to read. That's an opportunity for me to say, well, tell me what you wanted to read. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're struggling with. Oftentimes, the number that comes up or the weight or even the process of getting weighed can be an opportunity for us to discuss your medical issues, also your concerns and things you're going through. The point being is that this is a complicated or sort of complex issue with multiple sides. Yes, it's important to remember that, yeah, doctors, we do need weights for certain people at certain times for very specific medical reasons. But there are other times where we don't. And, you know, remember, you have agency over your body. You have the right to say, I don't want to be weighed. I just recommend that you find out if it's important, okay? And then you can also make a more educated decision about that. I want to know what you think. I actually got this topic idea from someone who wrote in the comments saying that it was stressful being weighed at the doctor's office. And when they wrote that comment, it immediately resonated with me. And I was like, you know, I've been there. I want to do a topic on this. I want to do a video on this. So let me know if you've had this experience, if you've gone through this, what you do at the doctor's office, etc. And doctors, healthcare providers, I want you to weigh in too. Give me your thoughts. The examples I've given are just some. This video obviously is not all exhaustive of all the pros and cons. I have to say that. But guys, I'm Dr. Jen. Oh, also share this video with other people you think might benefit from it. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. I do daily videos on health topics. Please like and follow my page on Facebook if you have not. For those of you who send stars, thank you so much. Consider joining my subscription groups. Also on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. Also, go to drjencaudle.com to sign up for my free health newsletter and check out my other offerings. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. I'll see you soon.